that saltiness isn't bliss, I want to wish you a very happy, very safe, and of course, very tasty Thanksgiving. So what better recipe to feature today than turkey? So tonight I will be making ground turkey stuffed peppers. So let's get started. So first and foremost, we want to get our pan heated up because we need to cook our meat before we season it and put it in our peppers. So I'm going to turn this burner on to medium high, and I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of olive oil into the pan. Any oil will do. So I'm just going to, sorry if my angle's a little off here, pour those in. And then, of course, I love when I'm working with oil or butter to just kind of spread it around in the pan as best I can to kind of give it a nice, even coat. My oil is all heated up, ready to go. You'll know it's ready because it will be much thinner and move around the pan much quicker. So I'm just going to grab my ground turkey here, kind of crumble it as I put it in the pan. So now let's talk about these delicious, beautiful peppers here. You can use any bell peppers you like. You can go anywhere between 3 and 5 peppers. The store I buy them at sells a pack of 3, so I just stick with that. And I love using the multicolored for this recipe. It's just fun. It's festive. So the way we prep the peppers is we're going to just take them one at a time, set them down. We are going to cut them lengthwise all the way through in half. So we just cut through. This is what your halves are going to look like. Scoop out that big chunk of seeds right there. If you lose your stem when you do that, that's fine because we don't need the stem. And then I just try and take out some of the excess edge here as well. And then I just use my spoon to scrape out any loose seeds that kind of fell down in the cavity there. And yeah, so that one's pretty much good to go. The reason I like to take the edge out and you like to scoop all that excess out is you want to have as much space as possible inside your pepper half because we are going to just load this up with our delicious turkey mixture later on. So that's it for now. You just want to do that until all your peppers are prepped. Then we'll move on to the next step. All right, guys, we are just chugging along here. So next step, all of my peppers are cut and gutted and ready to go. So I've got a baking sheet here that I've lined with foil. I'm going to put a light coat of cooking spray on there. I am going to place my peppers on there. So I like to just kind of lay them out like so. And just to keep it fun and festive, I will mix up my colors on there. So something to that effect. In the meantime, I am going to preheat my oven to 325. I'm gonna just let those hang for a bit. I've turned my burner down that my turkey was browning on to, I'm gonna put it at just barely medium low because now we're gonna add our flavors and we really just wanna simmer and blend them all together. And now as you can see, I've got all my tasty turkey in there ready to go. So you can put it back on the heat or you can leave it off for just a minute. I'm going to leave it off for just a minute, bring it over here on my trivet, and that way I can show you all the flavors we're going to add in there to make our meat mixture. All right, so got my turkey all browned and drained. Now I'm going to add to it all my delicious flavors, starting with 1 garlic clove that is minced. 1 tablespoon of dried Italian seasoning. Excuse me, 1 teaspoon, not 1 tablespoon, 1 teaspoon. I'm so sorry. Mixed up my measurements. 1 teaspoon of dried Italian seasoning. 1 teaspoon of, this is called Forward. It's a completely salt-free seasoning that's got bold pepper, paprika, onion, garlic, rosemary, celery, thyme, basil, pepper, all kinds of great stuff. So if you can find either this or any type of seasoning that's just got a lot of flavors within it, this is what that one looks like. A lot of flavors in it and all salt-free, go for it. Doesn't have to be this particular one. That's the one that I have and I was gifted with, and I'm so grateful for it because I use it in this recipe. Half a teaspoon of ground pepper, 3/4 teaspoon of dried minced onion. Of course, this is the point. You can add in fresh onion if you like. You know, any version of onion you prefer to cook with and eat, you can add in. I go with the dried, of course, because onion is just not my thing. We are going to put the pan back on the heat. Again, our burner's down to medium-low. And we're going to take a spoon and we're just going to mix that all up really well. Get all those seasonings onto our turkey. And we'll just kind of let that simmer in there for maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes. Guys, we've got a real nice sizzle going in our pan. I have turned the burner down to low because it was starting to get a little too sizzly, if that's even a word. Here is a little sneak peek of our meat with all the seasoning on it. So now, in addition to what we've already added in there, we're going to add our last few ingredients. So we are going to put in a 6-ounce can of tomato paste. All right, so we're just going to scoop that in there best we can. Having the pan on, having the heat on the pan will help thin this out a bit and help it to mix in a little bit easier. Paste is not your thing, or you want to go an even healthier, fresher route, you could use fresh tomato in here. You could chop up tomato or buy a can of diced and just pour that in here. My hubby hates tomatoes, so that is why I go with the paste, and I find the paste just kind of pulls it all together. All right, tomato paste mixed in. Next we add 1 1/2 cup of panko breadcrumbs. Panko breadcrumbs are great because they're low sodium. So we're just going to pour that in, and just like with the tomato paste, we're just going to mix that and blend that as best we can. And of course, some of it's going to go flying out of the pan, and that's okay. Just work with what stays inside the pan there. So here it is, partially mixed, just to give you a preview there and what that should look like. Our last ingredient that we're going to add into our pan is mild shredded cheddar cheese. So 1 3/4 cup of shredded mild cheddar cheese. Even better, right? Because who doesn't love cheese? So we're just going to pour that in, mix it through. Again, my burner is on medium-low. My burner's on low, and that's where I want it. But at this point, you really could just turn the burner off, because we're not trying to melt the cheese, we're just trying to blend it. Okay guys, so other than eating these peppers, this is my next favorite part. So we are going to grab one of our prepped peppers, and we're going to use our spoon here, and we are just going to shove and spoon as much of this meat mixture as we can possibly fit in here. So 1 pepper is ready to go. You can see I've got a little mound of meat there on the top. Don't be afraid to use the spoon and kind of just press and push down that meat so you can fit even more in there. All right guys, so good news. I was able to use my entire meat mixture. Look at these beauties. I don't want to tip them too much because they will go flying off the pan, but they turned out great. I've got them filled to the brim. Last, very, very last ingredient, and just a little extra something to add a little dash of additional flavor and deliciousness, is some dried paprika or smoked paprika. So we're just going to take and sprinkle just a little light layer over the top of each of our peppers there to just give it a little something extra. So then we're going to pop these into a 325 preheated oven, and they're going to go in there for 20 to 25 minutes. Okay guys, my ground turkey stuffed peppers are all cooked and heated all the way through. They smell delicious. And I have to tell you, of all the turkey recipes I make, this one's my favorite. So I'm really excited to eat these in just a minute. So let's get one in a bowl here. And I'm going to use the oven mitt just in case, because I always burn myself. There we go. Check that out, guys. Check it out. And I learned from my other pepper video not to put it on a plate because it'll slide right off. But there it is. I'm even going to take a big, huge scoop. Look at all the cheese coming out of that. Oh, if that doesn't make you hungry, maybe not on Thanksgiving if you had a big plate of food, but maybe tomorrow or maybe later on tonight, who knows. But at any rate, thanks for watching. Happy Thanksgiving. See you next time.